Right now, though, let's talk about royals. Once again, royals in the news. Prince Harry and Meghan turned up in New York. I wonder how they got there. Which private jet... And which famous pop star's private jet did we borrow to go lecture the world? And Prince Harry was speaking at the United Nations General Assembly, all about Nelson Mandela and everything else. This was on an event to mark Nelson Mandela, and his birthday was yesterday. Prince Harry was talking about climate change, the war in Ukraine, the global assault on democracy and freedom. It's believed that he included in that the overturning of abortion rights in the United States, where he lives right now. He says it's been a painful year and a painful decade. Yeah, those of us reading about him and Meghan, it's definitely been painful. Let's have a little listen to what he had to say to a, by the way, largely empty General Assembly.
The few weaponising lies and disinformation at the expense of the many. And from the horrific war in Ukraine to the rolling back of constitutional rights here in the United States, we are witnessing a global assault on democracy and freedom, the cause of Mandela's life. As we sit here today, our world is on fire, again. And these historic weather events are no longer historic. More and more, they are part of our daily lives. And this crisis will only grow worse, unless our leaders lead.
Well, Prince Harry there speaking, and speaking very slowly in front of a very, very nonplussed audience, it has to be said. And Mr. Set-Piece box office certainly doesn't have box office around an awful lot of the General Assembly members. Let's talk to Rupert Bell, Talk Radio's royal correspondent, about that. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Julia.
Our world is on fire again. I mean, at the pause, the full stop, I'm fascinated. The world isn't on fire. Unless when he says again, he means like in the many millennia, millions and millions of years back, when we were just a seething cauldron of lava. I don't know when he means the world is on fire again. Talking about democracy and freedom under attack. I don't remember him speaking up during lockdown, but what's he going on about?
Well, I wish I knew. I just don't know what the point of the speech was. There's nothing new that he said. That if you've got his view, there's nothing original. We know, that Roe versus Wade is a controversial subject, but if the American Supreme Court decide, because that is the way their system works, whether you agree with it or not, that is democracy working. And it may be something that has upset great swathes of America, and yes, I get it, but at the same time, there is a system in place, and it does not. The only reason he is there is because he is the Duke of Sussex, from an organisation that he wanted away from. There would have been no other reason. I was thinking, could I have got an invitation? No.
In justification, his mother met Nelson Mandela in Cape Town in 97. I mean, I've actually met Nelson Mandela. They've not asked me to come and speak there.
Well, okay. Okay, that puts you way ahead of my claims. But that's the... Look, Nelson Mandela, I remember going to South Africa very shortly after Nelson Mandela was released, because the country was into a new era, and he made a global impact, and he was a significant man ever. And I know that the Diana moment when she met him was a significant family moment and clearly meant a lot to Harry. So there is, I suppose, some reason. But actually, what he said is, as you say, to a half-empty General Assembly, he'd have been far better making sure it looked like there was a packed house, whichever room they could have gone into.
I mean, it was really quite embarrassing. And again, it's like people giving speeches in the House of Commons, unless it's Prime Minister's questions or a major resignation speech. Basically, these chambers are half empty. But again, he was delving very much into politics, but also it was just this, and it's a global elite, multi-millionaire, privileged global elite jetting around between their multi-million-pound homes, living the life of Riley, private jets, and drinking, and eating, wearing designer clothes and drinking, expensive champagne. And then he says, how many of us feel battered, helpless in the face of a seemingly endless stream of disasters and devastation? Andre Walker and I were just discussing earlier, Ukraine war. absolutely horrific. People of Ukraine, very, 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 very serious issue. Heat waves, yes, absolutely, it's something we need to take seriously, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, I mean, other than lockdown policy, which has devastated world economies, we're seeing what's happened in Sri Lanka, and in terms of, you shut down world economies, poor people suffer. Vaccination rates for the poorest people in Africa and Southeast Asia are going to actually see millions of children dying as a result. I mean, the knock-on effects of that. But other than those mad policies, which people like me were speaking out against 2 years ago, there's never been a better time to be alive. Being alive today, being born today, is the best day, as Andre and I were discussing earlier, best day ever to be alive, other than tomorrow, which will be even better. This constant doom-mongering from the most privileged people in the world is quite bizarre.
Yeah, and this is the point where he is, seen at fault here, and quite rightly in many people's eyes, because he is part of the global elite, whether he likes it or not.
He likes it. He likes it.
Is the British royal family. And if he wants to go away and he can make these statements as a private citizen. But the reason that they're both there is they are the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Yeah. Now, clearly there is a link with the Nelson Mandela. But at the same time, what he had to say was incredible. There was nothing new. Yeah. That's the point. If you're going to make a point, come up with some suggestions. Think about. But just to make grand statements, which is what politicians do all the time, from whatever side of the party, political persuasion you are. That's what we're going through the Tory party. It's all waffle at the moment. The proof will be in the eating, whichever one.
The other thing I really object to, and we have this from whether it's Greta Thunberg speaking at these sort of events or Prince Harry, where he makes statements like, more extreme weather, climate change would mean more extreme weather wreaking havoc on our planet. There's no evidence that climate change has brought more extreme weather, including to the data in the IPCC reports, and wreaking havoc. Fewer people die from weather-related events or climate-related events now, but it's been fallen by 95% in the last 100 years than did this time in the last century. It is. These sort of claims are made, and when I speak out on these issues, people say, well, what are your qualifications as a meteorologist or as a climate scientist? Well, I mean, they're probably better marginally than Prince Harry's or Greta Thunberg's, and yet these people are treated, and even Sir David Attenborough has done a lot of great wildlife videos. I'm not entirely sure what his qualifications are that are better than mine on speaking on this issue. These people are treated as gods when they're making pronouncements with no scientific or data backup.
Well, the point is with Harry, him going forward and saying it feels a sort of rite of passage. That's the point, that he says he is discovering his voice, to use his phrase, because, maybe he feels bruised and battered. But, he's brought it all about himself if he does feel bruised and battered. And clearly there's going to be some uncomfortable reaction to the book that's coming out with Tom Bauer, which is clearly highlighting the way that with Meghan, it's fractured his relationship, not only with his family, but his friends as well. So there's a lot going on in his life. But yes, fine, Nelson Mandela, and if he's got that picture, I mean, we'd all love a picture of Nelson Mandela in our house, and having met the great man, you would like that. But the speech at the end just felt, well, that was waffle, and it was worthy waffle, but actually doesn't do anything.
And again, it's the hypocrisy, isn't it? It's the private jets everywhere, and then lecturing everyone else. I mean, frankly, sod off, Prince Harry, really. 8:41 is the time. Rupert Bell, Talk Radio's World Correspondent. Thank you.